Today I was our last day of skiing, and on Instagram I put in this filter, this closest thing I could find to snow. I think it's called glitter, but it kind of looks like snow. So you should go check out my Instagram page if you haven't yet, to check out the snow filter. I think it's called glitter. Anyways, so today I did something so scary, I peed in my pants. And you see my lips are extra chapped and my nose is all red from the wind burn and stuff. But today was my last day of skiing, and I am a beginner skier, and I've only done the greens. And on Saturday I took lessons to find out my form, and I learned that it was important to stay balanced on the balls of my feet, and then to balance on, if you put pressure on the balls of your feet, then you put pressure into your big toe, and you lean forward into your shoe. And that's very scary because you're completely trusting in your snow ski shoe to help you with your skiing. And so I worked on form a lot on Saturday, and then Sunday I did a whole bunch of practice runs on the greens, which is, if you're not familiar with skiing, the greens are the easiest slopes to do, usually for people just learning how to ski. And today was our last day of skiing, and it was very windy and cold, and we took the gondola all the way to the top, and it was so windy. My sister and I and our boyfriend, we were up there, and the wind was blowing so hard, like the ice and the snow was like cutting our face. Like most of our face were covered with like our hats and our helmet and our goggles, but the one part, maybe if we didn't have like a scarf over our mouth or nose, like that part would be completely like cut up with the snow, because that's how fast it was blowing. It was like 80 to 90 miles an hour. It was so windy that actually closed down the gondola. So we were kind of we were stuck in the so they closed down the gondola, and they brought us down to the middle of the gondola of the ski lift, and so we were kind of like at waiting to see when they would turn the gondola back on so we can get to the bottom of the mountain to start our skiing. And so we were probably there for an hour and a half, and they brought this thing called a ice cat, a snow cat, which is this tank looking thing, and it goes like 50 miles an hour. It seats like 16 people, and they took us back down to the base of the mountain, which is where you can take ski lifts up to the various slopes to descend your way down through skiing. And the lower you go to the bottom of the mountain, the less windy it became. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna do the easy stuff, you know. And when I was doing the easy runs, the so-called easy runs, I noticed how icy the snow was. Actually, the last few days on Saturday and Sunday, the ice was super powdery and soft, and it was so easy to, like, you know, go back and forth like along the snow. I have to start my Instagram thing again. It died. Let's see. I had it on the glitter filter. Is that the glitter filter? Golden glitter. Here it is. And so it was really icy, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's so icy. It was actually hard. Like, usually when I was doing the green slopes, it wasn't very hard. I mean, it was challenging, but it wasn't terrible. And then I noticed how icy it got at the end. I'm like, wow, this is super scary. And I was learning to go a little faster, just because it was so icy that I had to go down fast. Like, I couldn't control the skis as well, and even though I leaned forward into my shin, my automatic instinct is always to lean my butt back, you know, to like fall into the fall. And I kept reminding myself, I kept counting 1, 2, 3, which is what my instructor kept saying when he says, you know, 1 is the balls of your feet, 2 is your toes, and 3 is your shin. Ball, toe, shin, ball, toe, shin. So I kept saying that over and over, and eventually I got bored of doing the green slopes because they were getting easy, even though they were pretty icy. So I did something that was super duper scary. I decided to take a break, go take a pee-pee break, and then look at the map to see what lifts were still open. and then go see which ones I would take next. And so the next lift I took, the next snow slope that I took, was going to be a blue run. So I've never ever done blues, except maybe in Salt Lake Cities once or twice, or Park Cities once or twice, because I was with a group of people and everyone were doing the blues. So I think I managed through one or two of them or something. But like this whole time here, I was like, no, I'm not gonna do any blues. I'm so comfortable with the greens. Like there's no reason to do the blues. So I went inside the ski lodge to see what lifts were still open, and I saw that one of them is called Chair 8 at Mammoth Mountain, and there were two blues that were available. So one was called Gully Hully, and the other one was called Swell, kind of like, you know, when you go surfing. And so I was asking this lady next to me as she was fixing her boot or taking them off, and I was like, which green is easier, which blue run is easier, especially for someone who's a total beginner, a total novice? And she said, oh, I don't know, I've been skiing all my life since I was like a baby. My dad would have me in a backpack as he skied around. That was like what he does for his life. He's still in his 70s and he still skis today. And so she went to go ask her husband. He's like, oh yeah, you should try to take the Swell, because it's very wide, so you can it's, you know, you can make big loops. And the other one, there's a pretty steep beginning, so it might be a little scary and intimidating. And so she was just like, why don't you just go back to the Schoolyard Express? Like, those are easy. Those are the greens. And I was like, well, I was doing them all day and I got so bored of them that I started noticing how cold it was. And so I mustered up the courage and I went on the ski lift, Chair 8. And that takes you down to the 2 green routes that I could take. And so when I got off of the chairlift, I was standing at the edge of the mountain where it's about to like dive down. And I was like, maybe if I stand around for a really long time, maybe my sister will appear and then she'll show me how to get down the mountain. And she'll show me like some magical way to do it. So I sat there and I stood there and I waited and I waited and I asked myself, like, so like I keep peering over the edge of the mountain. I'm like, oh, that looks so steep, it's so scary. Like, what are you going to do? Like, they don't have chairlifts that take you down the mountain. Like, you either go down the mountain or you say you have a broken leg or something, they bring like a motorcycle or something and come get you or something, a snowmobile or something. And so I stood around and I waited for my sister to arrive, and she never did, because I didn't even know if she was on the ski lift or not. So I was thinking, well, I mean, you can go down the mountain or you can stand here forever, but there's no time like the present. So I closed my eyes and I said a quick prayer for help, and I started inching towards the edge and took the plunge, and I almost lost my form and I forgot to lean forward and be on the balls of my feet and stuff. But the thing is, like, I was going so fast because it was steep for me that I really had not a lot of time to think and about like how scary it was, or I mean, I was thinking how scary it was, but I wasn't thinking about how cold it was. Like when I was on the slower slopes, the greens, I was thinking, oh my gosh, it's so cold, it's so cold. Well, up on the higher elevation, it's even colder and windier, and yet I wasn't thinking how cold it was. I was thinking, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna pee in my pants because it's so scary. And so I did fall and I did pee in my pants, and I probably fell twice, you know, when I went down that slope, and it was so scary and I was going so fast. And I was talking to myself like a coach. I was like, you're doing so good, Tuan. You're doing so good. And so I fell down, and I got really good at getting back up. I got really good at popping my skis back on if one popped off. I got good at scooting uphill to go get my ski. I mean, I got really good at all this. And then I finally made it down to the bottom of the mountain. And then I was trembling. I was like shaking because I was so scared. And I was like, okay, well, what are you going to do now? Are you going to go back to the greens? Or are you going to go back to chairlift number 8, which is, well, that scary-ass slope I just did? And so I knew what there was to do, which was, even as I was trembling over to the line, I trembled over and walked my way over to the line and got back in line. And I saw my sister and her boyfriend ahead, but she was getting on the ski lift, so I didn't want to freak her out, and then she would, like, you know, fall off of the chair or something. So I did it the second time, and the second time it was a little bit less scary because I knew what to expect. And I did fall down. The first time I probably fell down twice. Actually, I get them all mixed up because the green slopes are so icy. I probably did fall down a few times, and then blues, like, I didn't know if I was gonna fall down or not, but I fell down at least once during the first run. And the second run, I fell down again. And I was ready to go a third time, even though it was so scary, and even though I peed in my pants. And that was, it made me think so much about my life coach and about having a life coach in my life. And I thought about, like, when she was doing all these yoga poses, and she was saying how she's tried so hard to do these yoga poses, and she brought such a best part of herself to the yoga pose, and it made me think, gosh, like, are you doing this for you? And if you were, could you operate in this zone where you're completely uncomfortable and you're, like, scared and trembling, and it's exhilarating at the same time, and you know you are operating way outside of your comfort zone, and you know there is so much growth and expansion to be had, and you know that you become a better person because of it, even though it was so scary, even though you peed in your pants, even though you fell down, even though you have road rash on your back from, like, the snow scraping your back because you fell down your butt, even though you lost your skis, and even though you were stuck on the mountain for a long trying to put your ski back on, like, even all that, like, it still was worth it. It was still exhilarating. And I noticed that my sister's boyfriend, she asked, goes, did you notice how cold it was? Like, how did you think? What do you think of it? And I was like, I was so scared, and I was so concentrating on getting down. I was so determined to get down the mountain that I wasn't even thinking how cold it was. I was just thinking, get down the mountain in one piece, like, figure it out, like, do it. And do big loops, lean forward, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, balls toe shin, ball toe shin. So my challenge to you is, do you do things for yourself? You know, like, if you're in a yoga class and you're doing yoga with all these people that you admire, the person that you bring into the space, the kind of person that you step into with your form and your posture and your endurance and your focus, like, do you do that for you? And this thing keeps ending. Let's try again. Live video. Live. So my question to you is, do you do it for you? Do you bring that kind of person to that space? Like, what if you did everything for you? And even though it was incredibly uncomfortable and incredibly scary, and you peed in your pants and you fell down, and you knew the thing to do was to get right back in line and to go up that ski lift and do it all over again and again and again and again until you built your confidence. Because I was prepared to do that until the ski lifts closed. And the only reason why I stopped was my sister and her boyfriend, like, said, hey, we're leaving. So, and it was so scary, but I did it anyways because I knew it was the thing to do. Like, I didn't allow my feelings to stop me. I knew what there was to do was to keep doing it and doing it again and again and again on repeat, to build the confidence, to build the faith, to build the belief, to keep growing, to keep expanding, to keep operating outside of my comfort zone until it no longer was uncomfortable. So that's my challenge to you. Do something scary, even if you pee in your pants. And if you don't even know where to begin and you don't know where to start, then I highly recommend you hire a life coach. And if you didn't already know, I'm a life coach. And I love having deep, powerful conversations with people. And I love having pointing out and guiding my clients to their blind spots and things that are holding them back. And I love helping my clients choose powerful words to use that influence their thoughts and the things they say to the things they do. And if you didn't already know, you are magnificent. You are utterly powerful. You have everything inside of you to live a deeply fulfilling, meaningful, powerful life. The only thing is, you might not know that you have that stuff within you. You might not know how to access it, but I'm telling you that you absolutely do have it, and you might have things that are standing in your way, like your blind spots, or the words that you use. Like, you never know until you hire a life coach. So I don't care how you get to me, just get to me. Reach out to me if you're looking for a life coach, and if you have any referrals, please send them my way. And if you're not sure if you might vibe with me, or if you might need a coach or could use a coach or something, then we can chat. You can reach out to me, and we can meet virtually on video conferencing. If you're in the Dallas local area, we can have lunch or coffee or dinner or something and chat up a little bit and get to know each other. And it doesn't have to be me. Like, find a life coach that really vibes with you, and you'll be floored at the kind of quality of life that you could be living. You could be living in complete abundance and freedom, a life of profound fulfillment, if you choose to. And if you saw any value in this video, please share it. And if you haven't already, please support me and send me your love, and go to my like page and give me a like. My like page on Facebook is called Soul Elevated Life. Soul is S-O-U-L, Elevated Life. You can also go to my Instagram page and follow me there. And I also have a YouTube channel if you want to catch my old videos and such. So I am ready to go take a bath and soak, and I send you love, light, profound clarity, and infinite possibility for you to create the life you desire to live. Here's to you living a soul elevated life. Looking forward to hearing all about the ways that you put yourself in situations beyond your perceived ability and rise to them or exceed them, even if it means peeing in your pants. See you tomorrow.